ニブルヘイムフェンリス・ボルフ
共に真のバルハラへ行こう。
The Obsidian Table were about to grasp a flawless victory. With the end of their opponents, the battlefields would sing the glory of the champions. Everything was happening at the same time without even a momentary difference. It was reasonable to call it a coincidence. No one had intended or expected it. However, such fortuities had always resulted from the accumulation of inevitabilities. Nothing was without meaning. Every single action of all the actors taking part in the final battle had summoned the inevitable coincidence. Thus,
至福もたらす奇跡の見業よ。
'tis a miracle wrought of bliss supreme.
汝の傷を塞いだ槍から聖なる血が流れ出す。
From the lance that healed thy wounds, pour the lifeblood most divine.
私はみんなを抱きしめるから。
Another hegemony began to emanate. Eleanor found herself confused by the unknown spectacle. It was far too sudden, and downright ridiculous.
バカな
Blood gushed out of her neck. The wound given to her by Marie's touch had reopened, and she, the immortal Rubido, now had a fatal injury. Like the twilight, Einherjars were creatures capable of repeatedly and endlessly coming back to life. Eleanor would revive as long as Reinhard existed, but that didn't mean it was impossible to kill her. And this was the very first death ever experienced by the woman. Thus she failed to process it, momentarily losing herself in bewilderment and blank amazement. The wound closed and vanished in but an instant back then. So why, after all this time? Why did it suddenly reopen? That unexplainable burst of blood made Eleanor shift her attention from Kay's throw. The Velvelsberg Longinus dug into the wound and neatly pierced Eleanor's neck. No, it was... The outer layer of the cursed lance cracked to reveal something else. A knightly blade clad in a silver gleam. Kay was as shocked as Eleanor. Both the sudden abnormality in the Crimson Woman and the presence of her blade within the lance perplexed the girl to no end. Not to mention the mysterious feeling that had overwhelmed her just a moment ago. She thought it to have been her mind playing tricks, but the results were absolutely real. The instant during which she hurled the lance and it reached its target, Kay felt as though time itself had stopped. This wasn't merely a case for her senses sharpening in the face of imminent danger. After all, the lance she threw was moving through halted time at a normal speed. Without the standstill, the chances of the Crimson Woman dodging the attack would have been unreasonably high. Only with the aid of halted time could Kay's strike connect. Nonetheless, neither of them could fully grasp the nature of that phenomenon.
どうやら私たちの勝ちみたいです。ザミエル卿。
Kay believed she had won.
俺が忌々しい。
And Eleanor accepted her defeat.
まあ構わんす。ハイドリヒ卿は誰にも負けん。図に乗るなよ小娘。バルハラで会えば次こそ消し潰してやろう。
Even as her whole body became drenched in scarlet, Rubido formed an indomitable smile. Despite this conclusion being brought about by what can easily be labeled a deceptive attack, the Crimson Knightess didn't seem the least bit disgruntled. It was a certain display of pride fit for those who deemed themselves champions. For the first time ever, Eleanor made Kay harbor a feeling akin to respect, which was all the more reason why she couldn't allow herself to act lowly. Kay and those at her side had emerged victorious, a reality to take pride in.
もう二度とあなたの顔は見たくないと言ったはずです。
girl believed in the victory of the men they dedicated their blades to. Neither of them doubted that feeling and embraced it with absolute, unshakable certainty.
面白い。実に面白かったぞ。いい戦場だった。次は貴様を騎士と認め、私も剣を抜いてやろう。忘れるな。
だから
Realizing that repeating herself wouldn't help, Kay decided to say something else.
逃げますから、私。勝手に追いかけていればいいでしょう。
Eleanor burst into laughter. The agony burning her body filled her with overwhelming mirth. The woman had always sought what she could never reach. Be it fierce pain or merciless thirst, they were but dear, blazing passions that lovingly scorched her. The girl could run, but the woman would chase her for all eternity. For the moment, however, Rubido accepted that her wax wings had melted.
なあ、キルヒアイゼン。
She held the blade forced into her neck and instantly pulled it to the side. As the railway cannon began to lose its corporeal form, Eleanor's head fell right on top of it.
シーク入る。恩義に勝利を。 With Rubido's death, Suihara's bridge finally gave out under the pressure and collapsed with a violent rumble. The crimson hell of Muspel's time ended with an explosion that greedily devoured Kay.
じゃあ、私も本当に
There was no hope for her.
見てるからね。絶対勝って負けないで。
The sunlit bliss of her younger days returned to her mind. Her heroes, the two knights who received all her love and trust. She wanted to become like them, powerful and dazzling. Despite knowing it was her own naive, innocent wish that brought about all this, she never regretted it, and felt proud enough to thank them. She was truly grateful to them for being her heroes right until the very end.
大好き。
A certain dream came back to her. A vision of a world where she walked the city's streets as just another student. Embraced by dream and flames alike, Kay fell, vanishing alongside the collapsing bridge. And
今デジャブが
ない。
it completely disappeared. Not only that, but
こんなの。
俺は知らない。
what they experienced was, without a doubt, unknown. The moment Albedo evoked his creation figment, the chain, their lifeline, shattered and released them into the deadly skies. Schreiber's rule was meant to keep him untouched and uncatchable, so that the distance between them would only grow greater. Thus the chain was pulverized, and the devilish wolf, freed from the binds of Glebner, would create a sanguine storm. That was what should have happened, however it didn't. And the fact it was an impossibility qualified it as the unknown. Schreiber's back was closing in. The 1 meter distance they thought was infinite closed in an appropriately short moment. The Ashen Knight didn't seem to notice or perceive them at all. It was almost as if his time had stopped. When Schreiber suddenly entered a standstill, Shiro and Ellie, dragged by him at supersonic speeds, quickly rammed into his back.
酸欠。
The bike now had Schreiber, Shiro, and Ellie on it. 3 people on a single bike caused crashes. The condition for the jinx had been fulfilled. Shiro pulled the trigger and released a bullet that pierced Schreiber's back and went straight into the fuel tank. Fire, gasoline, and magic mixed and merged to create a fierce explosion. Accompanied a thunderous burst, The ruined amusement park was engulfed by a ring of fire. The strange sensation was already gone. They no longer felt like time had stopped, nor could they perceive the unknown that came along with it. However, they were absolutely certain of its reality. They didn't know the reasoning or the specific causes behind it. Not like any of it really mattered. The important thing was that, no matter how momentary and fleeting, they finally achieved what they had sought. And with it, victory. After all. Schreiber, surrounded by the remains of his Vandergand, was shaking with anguish. Albedo was a men's speedster who evaded all attacks and couldn't be caught by anyone. And yet, he had just received a fatal injury. The bullet pierced his back and destroyed his Ananurbe, bringing a halt to the dash he thought to be unstoppable. Schreiber had been defeated. With Shiro emerging victorious, no one could deny that. The Ashen Knight's body was covered in wounds and drenched in sanguine red, his misplaced eye patch revealing the emptiness underneath. All that he had swallowed and ravaged were forced into that void as feeble attempts to make up for what he had lost as a person. It was the endless hunger that drove him to continue his murderous dash. The trail of blood and corpses that defined his whole life. The void containing all the dead gathered behind him was the shape of his defeat.
痛いよ
His whisper was fleeting, near silent.
痛いよバラバラになりそうなくらい体が痛いよ
Why was she hitting him? Why did she get mad at him?
私はこんなに頑張ってるのに
He was now a she. Wolfgang Schreiber had been possessed by the memories of the time he lived as Anna Schreiber. It was his first trail, now old enough to be without even a trace of bones. Whether that fact was a curse or a blessing, no one could tell.
痛いよムッタ目が見えないよやめてぶたないで目が痛いのムッタに刺されてから治ってないの
Schreiber covered his barren right eye socket and began sobbing.
私のお客が多いのがいけないの大勢の人に愛されるのが悪いことなのごめんなさい私は醜いです汚いですみんなは私が珍しいからこんなに顔が腫れてるから面白がって抱いてるだけムッタの方が綺麗ムッタの方が美人分かってる分かってる分かってる分かってるよだから出来損ないなんて言わないで私を愛して愛して愛してもっとちゃんとした娘になるから
Exposed to the demented appeal, Shiro and Ellie did nothing but slightly strain their faces. They didn't care about his circumstances. Schreiber's case wasn't the least bit rare. Most murderers were people who survived harsh childhoods and lost something in the process. Either empathy, the ability to tell right from wrong, or something else entirely. As such, the sight unfolding before them failed to tug on their heartstrings.
正当作環境と強烈かつ恒常的な頭部への打撃シリアルキラー製造法の代表レシピだよ
つまりテンプレってな
To Ellie and Shiro, it was no different than seeing an honor student study hard, get into a prestigious university, and start a career with an excellent corporation. Though the vector was catastrophically different, both cases were those of people walking a path set out for them.
見るに耐えないね
ああ普通すぎてつまらんわこいつ
Thus, they once again fixed their aim on Schreiber, fully intent on taking him out. He'd disappear even if they left him alone. With Vandergand, his honor Nurbe destroyed, he was set to die sooner than later. Though he'd only restart again at the Devil's Castle, his death here and now would be an absolute certainty. However, they couldn't let him stay as he was. They no longer wanted to look at or listen to him. Being around this bore of a nutcase would only cheapen the precious moment they had experienced. Shiro and Ellie had enough of Schreiber. Watching him only made them feel unpleasant.
あなたが私のファーター
The Ashen Knight paid no mind to them and only continued his soliloquy. Could it really be called that, though?
ほう、なんだよ、包帯なんかしやがって。そのみっともねえ化け物面見せてみろよ。
Suddenly, Schreiber began talking in another person's voice. It was throaty and hoarse enough to give people shivers.
気持ち悪いな。腐ってんじゃねえかよ。いらねえだろ、そんなもん。ほら、こっち向け。直してやっからよ。感謝しろよ、変態が。一体何をするの？お願いやめて。だから直してやるって言ってんだろうが。でもじゃねえんだよ。俺はあの陰売に金払ってんだから仕事しろや。
Schreiber began acting out a double role. Suddenly he voiced a piercing shriek.
いいぜ。腐れた穴にちょうどいいじゃねえか。こうブジュブジュっとよ、汚ねえ海が出てくるじゃねえか。ビュッと出せ。じゃねえんだよ、化け物が。ほら、いいか、いいだろうが。てめえは変態の息子なんだよ。クソの股ぐらからひねり出されたんだよ。だったらそれっぽくあえげ感じるんだろうが。おい、息子どこにこんな娘がいんだよ。てめえアホか。アホなんだな。だったらそっちも直してやるよ。脳みそに届いてんだろ、俺のもんだよ。ほら、目玉がえぐれたぜ。うじが湧いてんだろ。こんなもんいつまでもつけてっから頭おかしくなんだよ、てめえは。僕
So right there I have to chime in. If you didn't understand what's going on, he's alternating genders. Boku is how a young boy says I. Watashi is more gender neutral, but it's more commonly used by women from my experience.
ほら、潰せ。その変態印ついた目玉よ。潰して俺の門にすりつけろや。さっさとやれ。
And so came another shriek. The kind of scream that would stay with a person to the rest of their lives, like the howl of someone in their death throes. When the echoes died down, his blank eye was filled with the Syrian light of madness.
死ね。
That single word harbored unfathomable hatred. No matter how valiant, no man could look directly into his eye. Pure rage and indignation far beyond the realm of insanity. The air grew heavy with bloodlust and began to whirl like a storm.
ムッターもファーターも男も女もみんな死ね。
He vowed to kill the creatures known as humans, until not a single one of them walked the earth.
僕はあんな奴らと同じ生き物じゃない。
Schreiber reenacted the moment in which he died as a person. He had long since forgotten, but it was always with me. The event was simply far too haunting.
僕は不死身の英雄なんだ。
As Shiro held up his gun, aiming it at the approaching beast that was Schreiber, he began to think. Perhaps, maybe this state was his true nature. Wolfgang Schreiber's soul was that of a rampaging berserker. Regardless of how broken a person's mind was, speaking human words would require them to place a sort of limiter on their madness. Shiro thought that maybe Schreiber's true worth could only be unleashed now that he had completely lost himself. What if the creation figment from before was an incomplete version with the limiter on? Shiro had no means of confirming it, though. Without his Vandergan, Schreiber was but a walking corpse, and no amount of rage could change that. There was no trace of his previous speed, nor could he activate his powers. Albedo's speed had dropped to the point where even a child could kill him. Adhering to his appearance, he acted like a wounded young girl would.
一発食らうのがスイッチだったんだね。 一発食らわせて、それでも殺しきれなかった時に、
その時こそか。本当にくだらねえな。
The true nature of the untouched knight would only surface when someone laid a hand on him. No one had ever seen it, nor was Schreiber himself aware of it. And now that he'd been touched, he had become fragile enough to be shattered in a single hit.
わだちね。
Their victory was completely consequential, so he couldn't help but consider his ideal. Still, a victory was a victory. Shiro bid the young lady good night and thought it'd be nice if she was reborn in a different country and time period.
お前みたいなつまんねえのと俺はもう喧嘩したくねえよ。
Sighing, he pulled the trigger. With his head shattered, Albedo disappeared, oblivious to his truth right until the very end. Whether or not that fact itself was blessing or misfortune, no one knew. Yet in the end, Schreiber himself had made all the choices that led him down this path. He clearly had a life with a fatally small set of options, but Shiro didn't think that anyone was limited to just one. With that settled,
こっちもダメか。
まあすっごい無茶したしね。は
the two exchanged a wry smile and sat down, clearly at their absolute limit.
ああ、レンとの喧嘩はどうも俺の負けみたいだわ。
They agreed that the first one to die would be the loser, and now the results were clear for all to see.
別にそりゃこの際いいけど、打ち上げがやべえな。ちょっといけそうにねえんだけど。
しゃあないね。でもいいじゃん。あたしらいかにもそういうサボりそうな感じのキャラだし。
それで納得してもらうっつうのもな。お客さんがなんて言うか。
だからあんたはまたそうやってわけのわかんないことを。
ま、いっか。
Shiro ignored Ellie's comment and put on a cheerful smile.
知らん。勝手にやれ。マジどうでもいい。だいたいなんで俺様が他人の顔色を伺わなきゃなんねえんだよ。俺。
はいはい。
Ellie imagined that Ren must have had his hands full with a friend like that.
でもよ、あん時のあれは良かったな。あれだけで。まあともかく会話あった。きっとあれやあいつのおかげか。
多分。っていうかそうだといいよね。
They exchanged yet another smile as their bodies continued to leak blood at an alarming rate.
ああ、ダリーは。
私も。
They spread themselves out on the ground and looked up at the magic circle etched on the canopy of heaven.
勝てよ。
こっち来ても叩き返すからね。
They sounded gleeful. Melancholy never suited them either way. Thus, they would have been glad if he didn't think too much of this either. Neither of them cared about coming back to life or turning immortal. They closed their eyes with their minds at peace, as if they were only falling asleep. Rhea felt something warm. It was enveloping and embracing her. While reminiscent of a pleasant afternoon nap, the sensation actually worked to awaken her consciousness. After all, the warmth was far too alien for the crucible, which was but a vortex of endless denial and rejection. She saw it as a ray of light. Indeed, it was the absolute truth, and a display of their true nature. Her dearest treasures, the ones with fiercely shining lives and strong yet gentle hearts. Rhea could perceive all the battles and feel all their souls. Though she was still within the all-melting crucible, Rhea could hear her own voice. She didn't know how she came back to her senses, nor why Izak's thoughts no longer attacked her. However, reasons didn't matter. The only important thing was that her friends were helping her. Rhea was wholly certain of that. It made her understand that she hadn't been abandoned. It opened her eyes to what had to be done. It gave her strength.
勝って。
She begged her voice to reach him. The Iron Niggerdo's voice shook with astonishment as he gazed at me with confused eyes.
ありえん。なぜだ。なぜ終わらん。
However, I was far more shocked by this event than he was. The Volsunga saga was supposed to end with the hero's death. Being a hero meant standing above common men, and it was a given that such people would be granted a death far more severe than anyone below. Machina's fist was that very death-given form, so why did I still draw breath after taking a direct hit from him? Logically speaking, no object or concept in existence could withstand his attack. Machina's fists brought an end to the stories of all they hit, so if there was anything able to resist them,
これが私の中身だもの。
it would be something born on the very moment of the impact. A new world where everything was at zero.
そうだよ。だから
I, the world, was alive.
俺。ありえん。
The fallen champion believed the death he harbored to be absolute. Unable to accept the failure, he released a battle cry and raised his all-ending fist once more. At that moment, I finally grasped what was going on. This was my and Marie's world, the world we both emanated.
滅びろ。
Thus, we no longer had anything to be afraid of. Together,
一緒に
we would defeat Machina, bring Gladsheim to ruin, and return to a world showered by sunlight. Every single one of us would be there. I swung my right arm with all I had, making the blade meet with his fist and fill the air with sparks. His attacks were no longer fatal. As long as his creation figment was active, his Volsunga saga could drop the curtains on countless stories. The somber Battalion Commander's power was menacing and dangerous enough to kill even Reinhard. In my current state, however, I was an exception.
2発だと。続けてたと。
It was only natural for Machina to be shocked. Even I was dumbfounded by this. Even if I was able to cancel out his all-ending fist with a new story that began at that very moment, it shouldn't have worked more than once. His attacks brought an end to history itself. The time gathered and steps walked by any creature, object, information, or concept. Thus, even if I survived the first attack, the most meager amount of time that passed after the impact would give me a story, making the following blow fatal. Even a fraction of a millisecond would be enough. Thus, to stand against his Deus Ex Machina, I had to constantly stay at zero. I was being kept alive by an absolute standstill. It sealed his craving and rendered his fists merely ordinary.
時間が止まればいいと思っていた。
Another one of my slashes clashed with Machina's arm. For the third time in a row, the all-ending fist left me unscathed.
今が永遠に続けばいいと思っていた。
Though unrealistic and immature, my wish was sincere and stale enough to be relatable to many.
この日常が終わってほしくない。
I wanted to prolong the moment.
いつか終わると分かっていても。
I never wanted them to be over. Our weapons clashed again as we faced each other head-on, not taking a single step back. This guy, he alone was an opponent I couldn't avoid no matter what.
己。クラフトの傀儡が。
Mercurius forced me into this extraordinary life.
ラインハルトの奴隷が生きがるんじゃねえ。
While the Golden Beast deemed me worthy of being his rival and began a war.
お前など。
お前なんか。
I finally came to know the true nature of the knight before me.
俺の斬首でしかないだろう。
We both believed each other to be nothing more than that and considered ourselves to be the undeniable owners of our own beings. His craving was a clear sham, and I would never waver on that point. After all, I never once wished for something as stupid as death.
かつて蛇は俺に言った。
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything else from that sleazy bastard.
終焉と失踪、その廃反を2つに分けろと。どちらにするか、どちらを選ぶか。
それでお前が選んだのは終わりかよ。
そうだ、俺はその瞬間を覚えている。
And that was why he had confidence in his identity. It gave validity and truth to his desire.
お前は形骸から作られたクラフトのおもちゃだ。奴の区別として放し飼いにされているだけの人形に過ぎん。
てめえはさっきからごちゃごちゃと。
None of it mattered to me. I was myself regardless of what he said, and that alone was enough for me to consider him the fake.
大体
I took advantage of an opening and closed in towards him.
男がベラベラと吠えてんじゃね
Machina, of course, responded by launching his fist at me. Our attacks crossed one another with perfect refractional symmetry, and both hit our targets.
え。ガー
Though they weren't fatal, we were both left with significant injuries on our chests. Nonetheless, I put on an indomitable smile.
聞かねえんだよ。
Just a bunch of broken ribs, not nearly enough to kill me. As long as the standstill was active, he could never end me.
抜かせ。お前こそぬるいわ。
This was the reason why I realized he and I shared the same origin. Time itself was at a standstill, yet Machina moved around as normal. He didn't stop, even though his power should have only given the sprint to me and my allies. He could have struggled against me if he was clad in another New World's emanation, but as he remained on the Pariah degree, that was out of the question. The idea that he was my ally felt even more absurd. Rei and I only gave the right to move to those who were supposed to participate in this party. Only one plausible explanation remained, that he was me and I was him. What about it, though? My enemies happened to have one exceedingly annoying dumbass on their side. There was nothing more to it. They changed absolutely nothing about what I do. Craft's plaything? Whatever. That guy was just a sleazy freak. I never let him have Marie. Hell, the guy before me couldn't even escape Reinhard's control. That clearly made him far less equipped to be the protagonist of his own Sun God saga. However, if I had to name just one thing I didn't like about him,
お前はラインハルトを倒せるだろう。
I fixed my gaze on Machina while barraging him with a storm of blades.
その拳で殴ればあいつだって死ぬだろう。
He stared at everyone with eyes like that of a dead fish, refusing to do anything about his situation. That pissed me off more than anything else.
どこまで奴隷なんだよお前は。
Sure, winning would be difficult, but the possibility clearly wasn't zero. Not to mention that as an immortal, he could lose and challenge him again and again.
そんな腰抜けが俺に偉そうなこと言うなよ。
お前には分からん。俺はもう二度と死から目覚めたくない。
The man of iron spat out the words in a heavy tone dark as the Stygian
お
night.
前も覚えていないのか。
That was the first question he gave me. He asked if I knew the moment of our death because he himself had forgotten
あ
it.
る日目を覚ましてみれば俺はハイドリヒの城にいた。わかるか。文字通り目が覚めたという程度でしか俺は認識していない。死は一度きり。故に激しく生きる意味がある。その唯一をわけのわからぬまま使い切られた俺はどうすればいい。吠えたところですでに起こった事実は変わらない。ならばやり直すだけだ。その唯一、二度と失敗の許されぬ唯一無二。俺にとって絶対に譲れぬ聖戦だ。奴を倒す。満回やれば一度や二度はいけるかもな。俺の唯一、どこまで安く見ているのだ。
Even though he didn't make my mind waver, I was completely lost on how to respond. I couldn't refute his reasoning. After all, I completely understood him. Death should only come once. That very fact made life worth living with fervor. Anything that could be easily regained.
そんなものはゴミだ。
He voiced the same idea I did some time ago. Well, there was the difference in what we prioritized between life and death. We both came to the same conclusion.
一度しかないし、もう逃せないし。ハイドリヒは墓の王だ。奴が率いる死は無限にある。意味がない。
And that was why he chose me.
言ったろ。お前とは過去に戦ったことがある。
As if he had read my thoughts, Machina made a grin before launching yet another attack which I easily repelled. The symmetry between us almost made me sick. Our compatibility was so good I couldn't guess who would win.
城で目覚めた初の蘇生とお前と別れた時は別だ。
Upon dying on some nameless battlefield, Machina awoke within Reinhard's castle. What could have happened there?
思い出させて。
He unleashed his fist yet again.
黒煙卓には一つだけ空席があった。
I reflexively dodged and distanced myself. However, the rapid and boisterous onslaught of his attacks showed no sign of ending.
最初期はハイドリヒとクラフトを頂点とした国。ベイ、ザミン、シュライバー、マレウス、バビロン、クリスト、そしてバルキュリア。
Four left.
トバルカインとシュピーネが後に続き、増年金とは最初から予約席だ。なあ、一人足りんだ。
The seventh. His seat, basically.
ズイベン。
そう、天秤だ。
I took the downwards blow and pushed it away, making Machina return to a considerable distance away from me, where he began gathering power in his fist. The very air trembled like in a heat haze. Even if they couldn't kill me in one hit, only a fool would underestimate the destructive power of Machina's roaring punches.
ではどうする？駒が足りなければ埋めねばならん。しかし欠番は随分。黒煙卓の中央にある天秤の座だ。生半可なものは据えられまい。ならばもうわかるだろう。 カール・クラフトがそうしたとき。
He put on a thin, gloomy smile, similar to one a sickly person would give to a fellow sufferer. Looking at it, I easily understood what he was getting at. Karl Kraft had a particular liking to a certain methodology.
ない。
作ればいい。
We voiced the answer in complete unison.
ハイドリヒの城で目覚めた先祖たち。 そこで最後の一人になるまでの殺し合いだ。負けた者は勝った者に吸収され、無論楽だった戦いなど一度もない。全員が自律的に城で目覚めたエインフェリアの資格者。
He ended up robbed of his one and only death. If he were to regain it, dying within the all-restoring Devil's Castle was not an option. To Machina, it was literally a struggle to the death.
そこでお前とは戦っているはずだ。
Everyone at the Gauntlet of Malice killed one another to be released from the Devil's Castle.
俺は最後まで残ったが、結果として最も強くハイドリヒの城に縛られていた。故にそこから最強たる子、万のエインフェリアと融合した俺をさらに2つ。お前はその片割れだ。俺の子がは 俺が持って行ったのだから兄弟だと言ったね。俺たちはひととき血肉を共有したが別に同一人物なわけではない。ハイドリヒとクラフト、そして俺の利害は一致している。奴らは俺たちを噛み合わせて真に最強の子を生み出し、求める死はその時だ。お前に殺されるのもいいが、そうなると
He didn't want to come back to life ever again. It was a wish that could only be fulfilled by slaying Reinhard.
確率として低すぎる。不可能と言っていい。お前は俺に過去負けている。ハイドリヒには届かん。それにな。
He clenched his iron hand and held it high in preparation to unleash that power onto me.
奴らの理想はお前の勝利だ。故に気に食わん。鼻を明かしてやって。
Machina's fists soared through the air towards me, summoning thunderous winds resembling a fierce explosion.
その時、奴らの顔は見物だろうよ。60年が水泡に帰した間抜けさを存分に。
Machina burst into laughter. His voice turned shaky, his eyes bloodshot. His fist was right before my eyes. With every cell of his body, the nameless champion of the castle's gauntlet howled to grind me into dust. He claimed to have defeated me once, a feat that he aimed to repeat. I could certainly understand his state of mind. I didn't really believe all he said to me just now, but it was obvious that he wouldn't entrust his dearest wish to someone weaker than him. I could easily see what he was getting at, but he completely disregarded something really important. Even if this was really my second battle with him, I didn't have Marie by my side during the first. There was no way I could have, and I knew the reasons behind his defeat all too well. One of them was that he, betraying his usual disposition, battled on for far too long.
お前は
I glared at the fist closing in on me. Within the coming of that single attack, I could run my mind through a multitude of things. Something was definitely wrong. He was taking far too long to hit me. As my comrade, he deserved to know this.
俺の女をなめるな。
Voicing that one fact of absolute truth, I resumed my sprint. The moment Machina's earnest attack was supposed to hit, his target disappeared from sight. The somber knight hid his astonishment with the pride of one who had survived countless battles. The negation of his all-ending fist was a far greater menace either way. As such, his enemy's disappearance would hardly be enough to perplex the strongest warrior of the Devil's Castle.
そこか。
His opponent came from behind his right side. It was based entirely on intuition, but it didn't fail him. Though far below Reinhardt's soul-fueled perception, Machina's own resilience went far beyond the common man's. Those unable to display logic-defying abilities when faced with death itself were nothing but fakers. They would perish before they got their chance to shine on the battlefield. He turned as he launched a backhand blow straight towards Ren's temporal region. The added centrifugal force gave his attack enough power to pulverize the boy's head, but it wouldn't be a problem even if he was able to dodge it. And indeed he did. The backhand blow went through the air, and Machina quickly used the momentum of the vain attack to launch an upwards roundhouse kick. The Somber Knight became certain of his victory. But his leg missed yet again. His opponent was gradually surpassing his instincts and perceptive ability. Though meager, a sense of worry began to whirl within his iron heart. The sworn enemy of his holy crusade could now only be seen as a momentary afterimage. Machina had defeated and absorbed him once before. They were one until the serpentine sorcerer offered him a choice. His tendencies, tactics, disposition, and soul, Negredo had forgotten nothing about his opponent. After all, right until that moment, the battle was progressing exactly as he thought it would. Though certain things remained outside his expectations, everything about his opponent was foreknowledge to him. If he couldn't bring the curtains down, all he had to do was end the act by pulverizing the stage itself. For reasons unknown, however, he could no longer read or understand his rival. The boy claimed that the woman made the difference, but the Somber Knight couldn't accept that. No glory could be earned by relying on such weakness in a battle fought between men. The Volsunga saga would only be complete when a lone hero followed his pride to the absolute end of his journey. He didn't need a place to return to, and anyone at his side would only be a burdening impurity. Nigredo was intent on proving that clinging to such things would be the cause of his opponent's demise. It was necessary to make him painfully aware of that fact. Makina was alone and Ren was burdened. The former couldn't have been slower than the latter.
だから
The black light closed in with speed that rendered him unable to perceive the guillotine's blade.
俺とお前は違うんだろう。
Makina evaded it by a hair's breadth. As dangerous as the attack may have been, all that mattered was that he survived. He was able to dodge at once, so the power relation between them became fixed. Ren could attack him 100 times more, but the result would remain the same. Their battle would still end the same way. After all, they both wished for a standstill as much as the other. Nothing could change. No amount of retries would yield a different result of the same equation. Nothing was meant to change, and yet... The slash that followed bit several millimeters into his neck. Makina was unable to evade it. His opponent had become swifter beyond measure, and continued showing a different result with every repeat. He roared and threw his fist, which missed by an even greater margin than his previous one. Makina was fully certain that a hit could reduce his opponent to dust, but all he did was rustle the air. Another slash from the boy scraped even more millimeters of his neck.
お前は一人で
The Somber Knight couldn't even see the source of the voice.
どうやって成長するんだ。
To reach his completion with his final death.
明日を見ないで。
For that was the final point of his struggle.
どうやって前に進む。
Heading towards a place where no one had to return to created nothing but a never-ending cycle. He had enough. He wished for it to end. Makina had to prevent himself from experiencing yet another resurrection. Thus he fervently wished to be released from Gladsheim. Though his head was already about halfway off, it didn't stop his advance.
なるほど。確かに俺とお前は違う。
He had pride in himself and failed to understand his opponent. In the end, they were nothing but two separate beings. It was only obvious that he would be rejected.
故にお前の世界から。
As he had just said, he was his own person. That awareness made him become bound by the emanated law. Sooner than later, his own time would be completely halt. However, that didn't matter to the Somber Knight, as he didn't believe in what his opponent could accomplish after defeating him.
お前にハイドリヒが倒せるのか。
The Golden Lord of the Dead, felled by one who honored a mere woman's feelings? Nonsense.
俺の望みは俺の力で完遂する。他力などに頼らん。
Thus, he couldn't allow himself to be defeated here. And if his opponent would ignore that, if Ren could inherit his Volsunga saga,
納得させてみろ。この俺を。
the boy had to prove himself capable of ending the repetition of strife.
させんがな。
ああ、おとなしく見てろ。
For but a moment, Nigredo's intuition caught a glimpse of his enemy. After seeing Ren with his mind's eye, he gave his all into a perfect strike directed at where he thought his opponent would be next. Makina felt certain it would hit, thus if his comrade was able to evade it.
俺は負けない。
He wouldn't hesitate to agree that he had changed since their last battle.
ラインハルトは俺が倒す。
ああ。
When their attacks crossed, he finally realized his time was completely halted.
では、勝ってみろ。
A faint yet positively tranquil smile decorated the Iron Nigredo's face as his head flew through the air.